Hi, everybody. As I promised, yes, I am back. I am alive. I made it through. I've been sick and I'm a big baby. I will tell you that right away. I did not have COVID. I did get tested, but it came back negative. And so I'm still kind of blowing my nose a little bit, and but we will get through it. So we're continuing our talk through Psalm chapter 1. And the reason why we're spending some time doing this is because you're trying to get through life, whether you're raising a family, whether you're single and you have a desire to be married, whether it's business, whether this pandemic, this economy, this divided country that we are living in. Maybe I know that when I was sick, man, I had to fight off a lot of negative thoughts, dark thoughts. I had to fight them off. Psalm chapter 1 is just so foundational for everybody, whether we're new in the faith, whether we been around it like I have for all of my life. But today I want to talk to you about the first verse of Psalm chapter 1. But first, let's review. Psalm 1, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or sit in the seat of mockers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He's like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever he does prospers. Not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore, the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. So I've got some notes here that I want to share with you as we focus on chapter 1, verse 1. And I'd like to give you a proposition. When it says blessed, it practically means happy. It's not that we pursue happiness at all cost, but if you're blessed, you're happy. Or if you're happy, you probably know that you're blessed. And what's interesting is verse 1 starts off with a positive. A positive. It says happy, and then gives you three negatives. Happy is the person who what? Who avoids 3 degrees of departure from God. Happy is the business owner. Happy is the teacher. Happy is the executive. Happy is the craftsman. Happy is the homemaker. Happy is the aging. Happy is the young. We will be happy if we avoid 3 departures from God. So look at the first one. The first degree is in your thinking. Verse 1 says, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked. What we're talking about here is your first line of defense is your thinking. It's how you think. It's not just your brain, it's your mind. It's the intangible. It's the intangible soul of who you are. So the warning, and I love this about God, he doesn't make it confusing. He says, look, if you want to be happy, if you want to be successful, avoid these kinds of conversations with these kinds of people. Avoid them. Avoid them. It says, blessed is the man who does not walk in the counsel of the wicked, by accepting advice, counsel, philosophies of worldly thinking. Yeah, I know that the Christians say you're supposed to do it this way, but I don't know. I mean, it's never worked out for me. I think that sometimes I can, cheat. I think I can steal a little bit. I can cheat on my taxes. I can do this. I can do. Nobody will know. Nobody will know. And that's where it begins. It begins by listening to that crap. By thinking about it. I've made some, and I'm not tooting my own horn here. I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, but I've made some some decisions of justice that cost me. But I had to make that decision because it was the right thing to do. And I wasn't going to listen. And boy, it's amazing the choir that will surround you and want you to justify the reason why you're thinking about doing something that isn't straight down the middle. You get all kinds of people who say, yeah, I can see why you would do that or why you wouldn't do that. I can see that. I can see that. So the first degree of departure from God is to break down your line of thinking, your first line of defense. The second degree is if that line of defense breaks down in your thinking, then the next thing that happens is behaving. So you break down in your behaving. You begin to do stuff. And once you do stuff, then you do other stuff to cover for the stuff that you did. So you get yourself in so much trouble that you got to confess and you got to say you're sorry and you got to ask for forgiveness and you have to have penance and pay penalties and maybe you actually end up in jail. Or maybe there's relationships that you lose because of your behavior. And behavior has consequences. Look with me, it says, or stand in the way of sinners. So remember, happy is, blessed is, and then 3 negatives. If you don't listen to the bozos, and 2, if you don't act like the bozos. Or stand in the way of sinners, to go in their way, to do what they're doing. So by practicing wicked behaviors like taking shortcuts, win-lose mentality, taking advantage of others, just not telling the truth, omission or commission. And then the third degree, first degree, you're thinking, second degree, you're behaving. And this is the third and final descent that is devastating. And that's in your belonging. Look with me at the third part of verse 1. It says, or sit in the seat of mockers. Once you're sitting, you're in community. And this is just not any community. This is a community that mocks the way of God. And make no mistake about it, you're not deciding right now today. This day, you are not deciding which path you are on. You are on one of these paths. You're on one of them. I hope that you will stay tuned throughout this whole series as we get through Psalm chapter 1. So I have my notes here that the final descent is to choose the community opposed to the things of God. And this happens when one identifies with and joins the mocking of God, mocking of good and wholesome things, and God's will for our lives. Boy, it's not just good stuff for me as a teenager. It's not just good stuff for me in the middle of a career or like me towards the end of my working life. It's good for all of us. We need to be humbled by it. We need to recognize that we all have failed in many ways, but we should never stop meditating and memorizing things that transform the way that we think, because that is our first line of defense. Be strong. Have confidence in your name and pride in your name. Be a person that people can count on. And it's not too late. It's not too late. I'll be back and I'll continue with verse 2. This is good stuff, you guys. See you soon.